So hey, my honeys on YouTube. I'm saying hi to everybody on TikTok as well. This is Kamara, Black Dove Oracle on YouTube, Rooted Futures on TikTok. It's the same person. It's the same person. I just have like a different identity on YouTube. But welcome you all, because this reading is important. I've been working on this download, and I don't know if any of you all are like this. It's like, thank you so much, Kathy Taylor, for that gift badge. Thank you so much. You guys like please like the live if you're on TikTok. I really appreciate you all. So I will invite some people later to go live with me. So please check in a minute. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be answering any personal questions right now. I might do it later if I have the time. But right now, this message is going to be collective. It's about like what you were never supposed to find out. And you know what? I've been working on this particular channeled message because I kept having to like figure something out. Like I couldn't figure out why people had like opposition in their family. Like, I mean, I know that we all have opposition everywhere, but I couldn't figure out like why people were having opposition in their family, especially. And sometimes this is like people who are very close to you. So you all like be patient with me because I'm live streaming on TikTok as well as YouTube. I haven't been on YouTube in a while, so thank you all. Put yourself in the comments if you're one of my regular folks. I might have lost a few people on YouTube because I haven't been on in a while. I have been like so busy, you all, but thank you so much for showing up here. We're gonna get into this like things you weren't supposed to know. Now, if you I don't think I can show you the picture here on TikTok, but I made some artwork that was of a black Santa Barbara, and it's really important, Santa Barbara, because she is this black saint, right? That is syncretized. I mean, I made her a black saint. I mean, she's not really black, but she's a Christian saint that was syncretized. Hey, Cicada, good to see you. She was syncretized to Shango. Now, if you know Shango of the Yoruba tradition, what we're talking about with Shango is that both of them, they have these qualities of fire, thunder, really like the tower in the tarot. So this is like the energy of justice. This is the energy really of the tower moment, like a surprise. So if you're watching me on YouTube, you're looking at some of the artwork that the AI made. I mean, I programmed it, but I put it in the AI. So here's what I'm going to say about this. And I have several versions of this. It's so good to see you, Cicada. I'm glad. I appreciate your message too earlier. But here's what I'm going to say about, oh, thank you for reaching the goal. Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm sorry, you all. I'm going to be talking to people on TikTok as well as YouTube. Here's what I want to say, and let's get into the story, you all, of Santa Barbara first, Saint Santa Barbara. So her story is very interesting, and I'm going to tie it all into why you were never supposed to find this out about yourself. But first, you need to know the symbolism of Saint Santa Barbara. So, really, her story was that she was the daughter of a pagan leader in somewhere that's now kind of like Turkey or Lebanon. So nowadays it's kind of like in that part of the world. It wasn't called Turkey back then, but she was the daughter of a wealthy pagan, and he locked her up in a tower. Get this, you all. He locked her up in a tower because he said he wanted to protect her from the outsiders. But while she was in the tower, she converted her religion, from paganism to Christianity. And when her father found out, he flew into a rage and he took her to the Romans where they tortured her. And in the end, he took his own sword and, unalived her. And so out of that, as soon as he did that to her, he got striked down by lightning. And so that was like a retribution from spirit for her wrongful death, right? And so there's something here about you, and there's something about that story with family. Family in particular, like for some of you, this has to do with a parent. That's how close this op is to you. But spirit had me kind of like, I couldn't figure it out. Hey everybody on TikTok, I'm going to talk to everybody. Sorry if I'm just kind of getting into the reading, because we have to set up the reading. The reading is talking about how, and if you are on TikTok, you could see my last post where I'm talking about in this kind of discovery here, we're finding out that in some of your lineages, and this is a collective reading, so you all have to take it where it resonates. It's more about in this lineage, you are here with special gifts, very special gifts. But Spirit has said, and Spirit has given me a few different situations that I'm going to talk to you about. But Spirit has said that for most of you, these gifts, they skip generations sometimes. And there was these ancient ancestors of yours who made sure that these gifts, these special gifts, some of you are psychic, some of you are seers, some of you are into magic, some of you have some kind of metaphysical abilities, whether that's mediumship, whether that's something else. Hey, hey, Seneca. Nice to see you. I know I'm going to mispronounce your name, but Asha, nice to see you. So we're talking about the setup of this reading where you were never supposed to find this out. And this is like a hidden secret of your family, like a hidden secret. Many of you were, how do I want to say, when you were born in your early days, in your early years, you demonstrated these abilities. And that is how your family, some members of your family knew. They knew that you were psychic. They knew that you had other abilities. Many of you, and you could put it in the comments, if you felt like you were a child, but not a child, like you remember having adult thoughts as a child. Oh, Sonoka or Sonota. Sorry. You're going to have to, you're going to put it in. But yeah, this class today, Cicada, you're right. It's like a class because we have to understand why these energies in your family, because many of you feel like you've been dealing with a lot of betrayal in your family, or maybe you've been feeling like, why was I born here? Like, what is up with this situation? Am I adopted? Am I from somewhere else? And it's like, like Bree, you're saying you remember being in a child's body, but you had an adult consciousness. I know for me, that definitely happened. Like I remember like even thinking about my parents and going, these people don't really know what's going on. I'm thinking these thoughts as a 4-year-old, as a 5-year-old. And it's kind of like you were born with a certain consciousness. And as you got, and I got to say this, as you were exposed to more adults, and here is where I think Spirit is trying to let you know that as soon as some of the people in your family got whiff of your consciousness, they got whiff of your abilities, your magical powers, they really had to get on the campaign of making you doubt these powers, making you even doubt yourself. And so in doubting yourself, you doubt your intuition, right? It's like these things are coming, you're constantly seeing and sensing and feeling things, but you're doubting yourself. And there's something about having you having to like really be smaller than you actually were. And this is Oh, Asa. Is it Asa or Asa? Okay. We're getting it. Okay. We're trying to get it straight on YouTube. But here's what I'm going to say here is that it may have taken many of you a long time to get to this point of actually wanting to connect with your gifts, whether they're psychic gifts, whether you feel like they're magical gifts. It's like, yeah, for a long time, uniquely, Melissa, you're talking about how you were thinking something's wrong with you. And really some of the people around you, they played on that. No, you're just weird. No, you're just odd. No, you're just imagining things. You really don't know the truth, even though many of the things that you would say did come true. Many of you had a sense about people, like maybe some of your parents' friends would come over and you'd be like, I don't like that person. And you would know why as a child their energy was off. You were able to read energy. Some of you, maybe you were able to sense people's auras. Whatever it was, your family went through this thing of having to like make sure you never believed in your abilities. And, Spirit gave me a few instances because I know this is a collective message, but I mean, it really started pouring out messages that I'm going to read for you. We're going to pull some cards to kind of talk about, what this all is about, because Spirit is saying now is the time for you to know and be very clear that sometimes, even in our own family, there is opposition against our gifts. They are actually maybe even sent. When I say sent here in our family, in our lineage, to stop us from developing, to stop us from believing in ourselves, in our abilities. So for some of you, Spirit said, and I'm going to kind of just get into some of the channeled messages here. For some of you, Spirit said, your abilities, one of your parents actually could and really loved your abilities, but they couldn't break the code of silence that your family had forced them into. They couldn't outwardly support you. And so you would see that this parent, while they recognized your abilities, they may have even on the side tried to like get you to kind of get into those abilities more. It's almost as if they couldn't break that code of silence. There was something about them that couldn't just directly tell you, yes, you are psychic. Yes, you are a medium. Like they had to kind of put it, they had to put a cloak around it. So for some of you, Spirit is saying one of your parents may have been secretly supportive of you, secretly, So, yeah. It's interesting here because we have Aunt Carolyn. This is the Hoodoo deck. And we have Aunt Carolyn here in reverse, which is the Wheel of Fortune. For some of you, you've really had to deal with family not supporting you financially. For some of you, Spirit is saying your family didn't really want for you to even get into a place where you were financially stable. So this could look like they didn't really help you to get in college. Even though maybe people in the family did go to college, they didn't, when it came time for you to apply, they were very oddly like not willing to give you assistance there. Maybe some of them didn't pay for college for you, but they may have paid for college for another sibling. It's like really weird kind of, what Spirit is showing me is some kind of way in which your family even played favorites with a sibling that didn't really present like you did. This sibling might have been very cooperative with the family and you were not. So there's something here about whenever you were in financial struggles, they didn't want to help you. And it was a very odd thing when you look at it, because it wasn't like they didn't help other people in the family. But when it came to you, there always seemed to be some kind of hesitancy. And Spirit said earlier in my earlier post, Spirit was saying that your early ancient ancestors, they had cultivated these beautiful gifts. They were probably known in wherever your family came from originally. The family was known for their healing powers, for their psychic gifts, for their prophecy. And then as things happen, which they usually do, wars, you have people being colonized, you have people being enslaved, you have people in, all kinds of situations. The family starts to integrate interculturally with other people who have different beliefs. And so Spirit said in one case, your family, your lineage, they started to get infiltrated with different spiritual beliefs. And so this began to water down some of the psychic gifts. And in some way, and I'm not sure like all of the details of it, but it's almost as if the family, um, as the generations went on, it was as if the family could only have these psychic gifts displayed maybe every other generation. Spirit is saying for some of you, every 5 generations. It was very, how do we want to say, spread out for some of you. For some of you, you could have grandparents and parents that didn't have any psychic gifts, but they were very much against it. They could say for religious reasons, they may have told you that the things that you were dealing with are of the devil or demonized. So, there was something about this that Spirit is trying to point out, that in many ways, some of these traditions, some of the ways in which you all get these gifts passed down to you, you're born into the opposition. Like your family becomes your opposition. And in many ways, that's been very intentional by other energies, other entities that do not want your family's legacy to come back. This is what Spirit is saying. Like your family has a very strong legacy. I mean, you could put it in the comments if you feel like when you're tapping into your gifts, it's something like it feels very ancient. It feels very sacred. You know things about your practice that no one has really taught you in this physical 3D. You just kind of happen to know. Like the more that you get into your gifts, you even know how to do ritual. You're doing your rituals. You know what you naturally gravitate. For those of you who work with herbs or plants, you naturally gravitate towards herbs, towards plants. You know how to work this magic. It's almost as if it just flows back to you. The more confident you become, the more that you believe in yourself, the more that you understand that magic and your abilities is not a game. Like it is embedded inside of you. And Spirit is saying right now, for many of you, it's being awakened inside of you. And you're starting to really question those people who want to teach you that you're acting against Spirit, because Spirit's like, no, you're not. We're right here. Like so many of you know that you know God, and maybe you have known God, whatever you want to call God, from a very young age. I mean, I could tell you a story of me kind of, they would say, oh, you need to go to church on Sunday. And I go, no, I don't. I have a personal relationship with God. And I knew that. I go, I have a personal relationship with God. I don't know what they're teaching in Sunday school, but me and God talk. It's not like that. And so I think this, just born knowing there. Hi, She Transcends. How are you? But yeah, like you knowing and just how that inner knowingness, Spirit is saying now that some of you have been experiencing maybe just like kind of wild dreams, even kind of sleep disturbances, because you're really aligning yourself authentically with who you are. The next message on here is about how This is not just for you to, you know, be doing readings for other people while you can be doing that, and that's totally fine. It's more about you realizing your gifts so that you can start to participate in some very meaningful way in world shifts and consciousness shift for the collective. So, while you may, I don't know why spirit is saying it this way, but you may be playing with your gifts or just kind of getting to know your gifts, there will become a moment where you will realize what your gifts are truly here for, because you will be called into service for spirit, service for the collective. And right now it is a good time to utilize your gifts and get to know them, become very confident in those gifts, and stop questioning yourself, because the stronger your confidence, the more that you're able to really be unapologetic about your gifts, you are going to realize just how deep they go. You're going to keep going down the rabbit hole of these gifts. And so now is the time for you to start to utilize them. Even if you feel like, oh, I don't know that much about the tarot, or, oh, I don't know if my mediumship, who am I actually talking to? Let me tell you something. when you've got clairaudience or some kind of mediumship abilities, maybe you see, maybe you sense, you're going to start to know, the more that you practice, you're going to notice that spirit has a particular kind of voice. Your ancestors have a particular kind of voice, and they have different tones to them, but they are all of the truth. They are all of authenticity. I'm going to tell you too that I'm not a spiritualist that believes that all of these messages have to be of love and light. They don't. I mean, if you follow me, I'm not a big love and light person. I am going to tell you what I hear from spirit, but it's not also going to be like super, dark either. So, I mean, you've got to kind of know, and I think you're going to know the more that you allow yourself to listen, that you allow yourself to interact with spirit, that you invite your ancestors, and be very careful, invite in the ancestors that sit at the feet of spirit, that collaborate directly with spirit, because not all ancestors have done their work, just like how, we got family members here who haven't done their work. So you want to make sure that you're very specific in your spiritual work, because really, if you are going to YouTube, you will see right now, you will see Santa Barbara. She is holding the sword. In fact, I made a few different images of her, so I want to share those with you all. And she's holding her sword because it matters, that you have this imagery, because it's going to reawaken you. It's going to reawaken your memories of who you are. So let me see if I can find it. What happened to my backgrounds? Okay, there they are. Here's another version of her. And so, for those of you who are on YouTube, if you want to go to my YouTube, it's Black Dove Oracle. Okay, so I'm live there as well. So I'm going to get into answering questions, but let's pull a few cards. And yeah, thank you so much for the badges, you all on TikTok. I really appreciate it. I'm 80% complete with my goals. I don't even know what I'm doing on TikTok, but thank you all. Thank you all for helping me. I'm getting some cheers, and thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm really appreciating you all, and I'm appreciating you all, my folks on YouTube as well. So let's get into some of the readings and some of the channeled messages. Spirit said for some of you, this is about religious wars. And we alluded to that too, because when your family has this kind of gift, and then of course, what book I really like, and I'm going to diverge for a second. There's this African author called Aikwe Arma. I may not be pronouncing his name right. He wrote this book called K as in kite, M as in Mary, T as in Tom. It's called Kemet. It's short for Kemet. But he wrote this fictional book called Kemet. And in that book, it really does tell a similar story of how in ancient days, because of war, because of colonization, because it, just people moving around and different beliefs and everything, some of the sacred teachings got lost that way. Some of them were actually watered down. Some of them were just, they dissolved. And so I think what Spirit is just bringing that memory up of that book to me, because it's saying that we are being called by certain ancestors. Some of you have access to very ancient ancestors. And those ancestors are saying, I'm bringing this back. I'm bringing back this teaching. I'm bringing back your memories so that you know who you are. Because there is something of a big shift. And I know you all are feeling it. I mean, it's not just a political shift, you all. It's a humanity shift. And while things are happening at how I want to say the 3D level, I think those of you who are tapped in, you know what's happening at the ascension level. And they're saying we need pillars. We need people who are ready, who understand themselves. Really low key, all human beings have these abilities. It's just that they haven't taken the time to develop them. So some of you, you're just coming in because you're old souls. You already know you've developed these talents ages ago. You know what I'm saying? And there's some people who, I'm going to put it like this. The human collective is ready to shift into these abilities. If you don't notice, AI is coming in. All these computers, all this science coming in because it's going to take over 3D jobs, 3D tasks, so that we can free and liberate ourselves, liberate our consciousness to develop more, to develop in, hold on for you guys. Let's see here. How do I block people on here? Not that I'm going to take all my time for that, but cool. Yeah. So just know that you all, some people will be blocked if I'm feeling like we don't need you here with your negative energy. But anyway, all of that to say, I think it's about us being prepared in a certain kind of way. Because I think, by this time, trying to keep up with whatever's happening politically, whatever's going on, it feels like smoke and mirrors. It's not about who we are at our core. We are powerful beings. I've seen many visions of us once we've ascended. These bodies are even just vehicles for us. Once we become so ascended, we won't even need the physical vehicle. We're going to understand that consciousness is really our true nature, our true identity. But, that's whatever time it happens. I can't do a time thing with it. I'm just saying that this is who we are. This shirt was made by an artist. It says soul. Don't you like it? She has another one I got that said Sade. I don't remember who. Is it melanated? I don't know. I got to find out. But if you all message me, I'll find out. Yeah. So, a lot here. Eight of Wands. These things are happening quickly. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm feeling like time is going so quickly. The weeks are up quickly. The end of the year, we're almost at a mid-year. Things are happening quickly. And so it is time for us to understand and develop ourselves. Yeah, it is Marvin Gaye. Yeah. Thank you for the Mother's Day. Yeah. So other channeled messages, you all. Yeah, I did say that you are okay. Well, Spirit is even saying for some of you that you are actually old ancestors coming back in your line to heal things. Like you were actually an old ancestor, an old teacher in your line that's coming back to heal things because your lineage is kind of like off right now. And so you're coming back and you're understanding that you're breaking cycles. You are different. You are here to do something to break those lineage patterns in your family. But you got to be okay with being different. This is what Spirit's saying. You got to be okay with sometimes being the villain. And the villain is not really a villain, right? But for some people, my Cash App is Black Dove Oracle, y'all. Thank you so much. It's okay to be the villain in the sense of like you're not going to do that same codependent, enmeshed stuff that your family's doing. You're not going to sit here and pretend that things are okay when they're not. You're really going to start living authentically within the family. Some of you had to cut yourself off from family right now. You just had to do it to get your bearings. You had to do it to get your sense of grounded, taking care of your nervous system even. Because some people are in some real toxic, some of your lineages, and I'm not saying mine is exempt from that. Some of us, we have lineages that are very toxic, that haven't done a lot of work lately. And so, a lot of it is you're having to like fortify yourself. It's not maybe that you're permanently gone, but you had to love people from a distance while you get yourself settled, while you get yourself, how do I want to say, really grounded in your beliefs of who you are. So that when people tell you, oh, thank you for the Cash App, creative charcuterie, I really appreciate that. Thank you. But you really had to get yourself into a place where you understand that your gifts are not a curse. You are here to actually love and fix the things that have gone on for too long. Some of you have a lot of trauma in your family. And, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people, they really don't connect a lot of the trauma, the intergenerational trauma in our families to colonization. For some of us, depending on your culture, to wars, to enslavement, to land removal. So when you don't connect the family trauma back that far, you keep thinking people are just bad. People just don't know what to do. And I mean, in some cases, their immediate actions are just like, telling you they're not ready. But a lot of it is rooted in the past, y'all. Past that people have not really taken the time to heal, or even had the time to heal, had the resources to heal. It's not taking people away from accountability, but it's letting you know that as long as these systems have been in place, people are actively being traumatized. And, this is why we have to do the work we're doing. And this is why the work we're doing is coming through in a psychic way. Because you can't, here's what I want to say about colonization. You can't colonize the psychic. The psychic sees the truth. The high priestess sees the truth. The Hierophant sees the truth. It's like you've got to understand that there's something about seeing the truth that lets you see through all of the advertising, the marketing, the campaigns. You see through it all because you could see people, you see their spirit, you see what's underneath it. So this is the trauma is deep. But you got to be the curse breaker, and the curse breaker is not going to be applauded sometimes, because you're doing the work that's actively against the norm. A lot of our trauma has become associated and normalizes normalizes all of this stuff that's going on. So there's something about you, and I'm going to speak to you specifically. Like there's something about you that understands and sees clearly. And maybe for some of you, Spirit is saying you've been wondering, how do I live in this world as I am? Because there is going to come a point where you're just like, I can't just keep seeing all of this. And this is where Spirit is saying here, you know, the truth, Ace of Swords. Spirit is saying here, though, this is why you've got to become very devoted to yourself, devoted to your gifts. Don't squander them. Don't use them in a way that takes you out of integrity. Because these gifts, they are going to bless you. But you've got to understand that they come with a lot of responsibility. They really do. So you're divinely protected. Thank you, Lady Ty. You are divinely protected. And I think the more that you align with your purpose and your gifts, you're going to see that nothing can touch you. You know, the valley, what is that saying? As I walk down the valley of the shadow of, what is that, you all? Tell me what it, you know, my Bible verses are off. I haven't lived that way in a while, but I was raised that way. But as you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you understand nothing can touch you. All of that has been an apparition of some people in your family to keep you thinking that you're actually a 3D spirit. You're not a 3D spirit. And some of you are going to realize this. Yes, you're in a 3D body, but your consciousness is of something else. And so utilizing your gifts and fearing no evil, that's right, Lady Ty. Your cup runneth over. Because here it is, your gifts are, you're going to realize where your gifts truly come from. They're highly aligned with spirit. Now, some of you will do this work and you'll do it within the Christian religion. I mean, a lot of old Black folks from the South. I mean, if you all have seen Sinners, there's an integration. There's an integration of the Christian and the traditional religions, because that was the only way we could practice back in the day. And regardless if you're Black or if you're indigenous or, you know, whatever, people's actual indigenous practices, whoever they are around the world, have always been a little, you know, they've been demonized by the ruling culture. So you really do have to be okay with people labeling you in a particular way, because you have to stand firm in who you are and know, you know, internally who you're working for. Okay. And so this is something where it's a long road. And for some of you, it is alone, but you are not lonely. Because once you know who your guides are, once you work with your ancestors, once you're working with the Creator itself, that is your rock. You know, that is your strength. That is your company. And you have to sometimes be okay with that. Sometimes it's not about being in a relationship or finding friends or all of that. I mean, those people will come because consciousness is shifting drastically. You will find your soul tribe, your soul mates. You will find those people, but don't make that the priority right now. Make your gifts and how you live with your gifts and your prosperity, because I'm going to tell you, once you lock into these gifts, you have a lot of prosperity coming towards you. Believe. You're well taken care of because you're out of that lack consciousness. You're out of the human race consciousness, and you're tapping in quite literally to who you are. You recognize that money is numbers and numbers are symbols. You understand how to work the magic of that. You will start meeting people. You will start gravitating towards books and wisdom and knowledge. And you will begin to understand that this world is mostly an illusion. Mostly. But we live one foot in and one foot here, and it's so easy to be taken away by 3D concepts of life. But there's so much more to you. And I think Spirit wants you to know that you're so much more than who you think you are. You're so much more than a job, what kind of car you drive, what kind of perfume you're wearing, whatever you're buying. You're more than that. And it's not to say that you can't do all those things and like all those things. You can drive a nice car. You can live in a nice house if you want to. But those are not the thing. The thing is for you to know yourself and your divine gifts. So thank you all for joining me, because I know that sometimes these messages, you hear them over and over again. And I don't get on lives very often, at least on TikTok, because, I'm a busy person. I really am. And I really appreciate when you all reach out and check on me. And I do, because y'all are my son. You are my son. Because I too go through things where I'm like, am I the only one thinking about this? Or why can't I find my folks? And I think it is just a matter of holding the faith, holding who you are truly in your heart, and not letting anyone define you. Not letting anyone define you. Let me see what else Spirit has said to me. Thank you, uniquely, Melissa, Angie Barney. Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Benjamin Lewis. I think that's what that says, Benjamin Lewis. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Let's go back, because Spirit had me writing down all these messages. Okay, here it is. For some of you, and this is very specific, Spirit said, that when you were born, because being birthed into this realm, coming from the spirit realm into the 3D, there's kind of like a pathway. But Spirit said for some of you, this may not be all of you, but for some of you, you were misdirected intentionally into another lineage. So for some of you, if you do feel like, dang, was I adopted? Like, why am I not connecting with any of these people? There's many reasons why that might be. But for some of you, it is really actually because spiritually you were misdirected and you were born into a lineage that's maybe not even yours. Now that's, depending on your beliefs, only take these messages if they resonate, you all, and you can make sense of it too. But for some of you, that was the case. Like spell work was done while you were in transition to the womb, and you were kind of misdirected. And you were misdirected into a family that has no connection to any of these beliefs whatsoever. So Spirit said that is possible for some of you. Again, Spirit wasn't making it sound like everybody, but the Spirit did say it was possible for some of you. Please take a moment to like this live, just so that we can let people know that we're in here talking about, kind of important messages here. Spirit said too that right now is no accident that you're finding out about your gifts. It's no accident even if you're stumbling upon this live right now, because Spirit is saying some of you really do need, and let's all send out the energy right now. Even if you just want to put your hands up and send the energy to let everybody know that they are safe. You are safe as a spiritual practitioner. Even if the world around you is giving you different messages, you are safe. 9:44 in my time, 11:44 in someone else's time, you're safe. And in fact, I'm going to pull up a mantra that I created because I really think that we need to start reversing some of this energy. And here's what I want to tell you about negative energy is that you can reverse it. You can actually transmute it in service of yourself and the earth. What I like to do, and I'm going to tell you, me personally, I don't just transmute it for myself. So what I do is when I sense there's negative energy coming towards me, I first ask the earth to take it because the earth is our mother. So you can ask the earth to take it because the earth can immediately transmute any negative energy that's sent towards you. That can include spells, hexes, anything. Yes, there's other things you can do. I don't put those things out in public. We would have to be in another situation for me to share those things. But the easiest thing for you to do is send that energy to the earth. And when you ask the earth to take that negative energy, you say, if there's any left, can you bring it? Can you give it back to me, transmuted for my power, for my abundance, for my prosperity, for my health, for my joy? So you can speak that. And you can flick off, any negative energy. But it's important for you to not. And here's what I want to say about cautionary about doing return to senders. You can do a return to sender. I'm witchy, so I'm going to tell you whatever you feel called to do, you should do. But here's the warning with return to sender. When you do return to sender, you may be returning something to someone who really just doesn't know anything about themselves. They may be young, they might even be a child. Sometimes you don't want to do that. Instead, you want to just transmute the energy because really that energy is full of passion, right? Passion directed as negativity towards you, but the energy is still very potent, right? And the more hate, the more potent it is. I'm just going to be truthful. It's like the more hate people send towards you, the more potent it is. And that is when you want to transmute it. You want to use it. You want to let people know that when they send you negative energy, they're making you wealthy. They're making you prosperous. You want to send them a warning. I'm even sending some a warning now. If you're looking at me now and you're like, if you're sending me negative energy, I'm going to warn you right now, you're filling my pockets. You're sending me because I'm going to transmute it. I'm going to transmute it. So it's best just to click off. It's best just to scroll on. And that's where you got to get in that energy. It's like, no, I rebuke it all, but not only rebuke it, I'm going to transmute it. I'm going to use it. It's as if someone is telling you, let me just throw some rotten seeds on her garden. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it in my compost and I'm going to seed the rest of my garden with it. So that is how you got to think of this magical life. It's like nothing goes to waste, not even hate directed towards you. There are some people who know me. They know that I can transmute energy because the me that they used to know is not this me they're looking at right now. And they're shocked because they know I've transmuted a lot of the bullshit that they've sent towards me. And so this is why you've got to know your magic. This is why you've got to know how to utilize it, my friends, be my honeys even, because it is here for you. You are the master. And this whole reading is about understanding your mastery is coming from deep past lives that you've had. But, I was once a person who didn't know who I was either. I had to really discover myself. I had to really sit with my ancestors and listen to them. Sometimes do things that I'm like, I don't even know if this makes sense, but I'm going to do it. And the more you hear their voice, the more you feed your ancestors. Some of y'all do need to feed your ancestors. When I get this card, do y'all see it on YouTube as well? When I get this card, it's the sun card in the hoodoo deck, but it's also feed your ancestors card. You know what I mean? Some of y'all, your ancestors like cornbread and coffee. I'm just mentioning that to you. Some of y'all, your ancestors like cornbread They're saying with a lot of butter and some coffee. Not all your ancestors want liquor. Some of them want coffee. Y'all know who you are. They said they're hungry. Some of y'all, your ancestors like fried chicken. Yeah. Some of y'all, the ancestors do need some gin. They need some rum. Rum is a good one, especially if you're of African descent, because that's what our people were traded with. You know what I'm saying? So we reclaim the rum. We reclaim some of those libations for our ancestors. So feed your ancestors. Some of your ancestors actually do need, I'm hearing, a dollar bill. Like they need some physical money there. Some of you do need to feed your ancestors. They need strength. Here's the thing. Feeding your ancestors is not just some, real nicety. It's actually strengthening your ancestors, because there's work. You've got to understand, like the spirit world and our world, we exchange power. We exchange blessings. Your blessings, ancestors on that side are helping you, but they also got to eat too. They also need strength too. So this is why you do the offerings. You're not just doing it as some kind of like mindless ritual. Not saying that you all would think that, but I'm just saying, like, you need to understand that if things, especially for some of you, spirit is coming through right now. If some of you have been feeling like your family is just in a downward spiral, it's because you need to feed your ancestors. And you need to really direct that energy towards the ones that are strong enough, the ones that left this earth connected to God. This is why we do not make offerings to all ancestors. Some ancestors need to heal, but you need to understand that the ones you want to work with are sitting with God. They have a relationship with God, because when they died, they were of that mind and heart. So you don't I don't know why anybody would be afraid. I'm looking at the comments. I don't know why anybody would be afraid. But here's what I'm going to say. When you feed those ancestors, you're going to see your family shift. You're going to see, like, out of nowhere, somebody stops drinking. They're like, you know what? I decided to come sober. You're going to see out of nowhere, someone is going to say, it's time for me to give that person a call and get right with our relationship. So you could start with coffee. I said for some of you, it's coffee and cornbread. For most of you, it could just be a glass of water. If you're in a sober household, water's fine. You don't need to go and kind of threaten anybody's sobriety. You could do water and a white candle. That's totally fine. Do not leave your candles unattended, even the small ones. Watch that. Make sure that whenever you're doing this work, it's in a clean space. Your ancestors are just like people coming to visit you. They don't want to see clothes all over the floor and dirty dishes. Invite them in with respect. For many of you, if you are going to do an altar, we're just talking about some brief altar tips here. Do it in a place where that's sacred to you. Not everybody coming in your house being able to touch things and ask you about stuff. That's not it's unless you're doing something kind of public altar, your intention. Most of the time, ancestor altars, they could, it depends. And I'm going to tell you why it depends. Some people, when I say all of this, these are general ideas of how to practice with an altar. But some of you, you're connected ancestrally to certain deities. And there's certain deities that don't want to be in your bedroom because of the things that happen in the bedroom. Okay? So if you are going to put them in the bedroom, it would be good to put them in a locked cabinet. Like some kind of cabinet that has doors, that locks on it, that can kind of take them out of your business that happens in the bedroom. All of us have different living situations, but you need to understand certain ancestors, they don't like to mix your actual life with their spiritual life. So that is why certain people will go and get divinations, because you need to know if there's any taboos that way. Not everybody has that taboo. I'm just saying, if you know how you can know if something's not right with your ancestors or with your guides, things get chaotic. So if things are chaotic for you, you're doing something that's messing with some kind of lineage taboo. It's not for everybody, but I'm saying this to people, and you know who you are. Because if you got to ask me what I'm talking about, you probably don't know what I'm talking. But I'm saying, like, if you are of certain traditions, you may need to get that divination just to make sure you're not acting against your taboos. There's some of us have taboos. Some people can't go to a cemetery. Some people can't be in certain kinds of water. Like whatever it is, some people can't eat certain kinds of meat or certain things. Some people can't even talk to people in a certain way. Y'all don't know. Thank you for that heart. Y'all don't know. I went to a shrine one time, and people were not allowed to talk down or talk any kind of crazy way to each other. They had to be very respectful to each other. So some of y'all don't know that when you calling people out their name or saying hurtful, gossipy things, you might be acting against a taboo for yourself. So a lot of this ancestral work that we get into, it comes with protocols. And you're going to find that the deeper you get into your work, there's just some people you cannot be around. There's some energy you can't be around. There'll be TV shows you can't watch anymore. There might be certain kind of music you can't listen to anymore. It's not because you're being coerced or controlled. It's because your ancestors are trying to keep you on a certain energy level. They're trying to keep your mind very clear for the work ahead, your consciousness elevated. So, you're going to find, you're right, Cindy. It's like disliking of down talk and sarcasm. Like for certain people, certain houses, certain traditions, you cannot disrespect people. It's just, certain deities do not go for that. And so you've got to understand that there's so much complexity to some of our lineage, our ancient lineage practices, which is why it's really hard to kind of just tell people in general what to do for their ancestors, because it is going to be very unique. But I think beginning at a baseline, if you've never done anything before, it's okay to offer water, fresh flowers, some candlelight occasionally. And what you do in the beginning is that you sit at that place, because here's what it is. An altar is just a focal point, meaning it's a place that lets your 3D self remember there are energies in your family that you're working with. So when you sit there, it's a symbolic gesture. You talk to your ancestors. You share with them the good and the not so good. So you don't go to them just because things are going bad. You tell them about the good things. Imagining your grandfather, your grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, your great-great-grandfather coming and sitting on the porch, and you're sitting right at their feet, and you're talking to them about the good that's happening in your life. And you're also talking to them about your challenges. You're not praying to your ancestors. So clear that up. You're not praying to them. You're just in community with them. And if there's something that they can do to help you in the 3D, they will. Because here it is. Their mission is to help the bloodline. That's the only thing your ancestors want to do. They don't want to do nothing else. They're not going to fight people for you. They're not, trying to get you a relationship. I mean, here it is. They're going to help you in the mundane world. So if there's something that they can do, maybe you need a job, maybe you need to see how to pay a bill. They're not going to actually pay it, but they're going to make the way. They're going to show you the route. They may even have you talk to someone who knows how to get that. You see, the doors open with your ancestors. They're helping you open the doors. but they're not, these magical magicians. They still need your time and energy and your love and care as much as you need theirs. It's a reciprocal relationship, y'all. It really is. Somebody broke it down to something about DNA. Yeah. I think many of you, if you're attracted to this, it's because you are well on your way to understanding yourself at a very deeper level. And Spirit says this is highly intentional. You are not subject to this world. You're ready to leave it. You're ready to leave behind thoughts, 6 of Swords. You're ready to get in that boat meaning your own ability to transition your life, your thoughts and your actions. Swords are thoughts. Swords are ways of thinking. You're ready to change that. Some of you have to literally walk away. You have to walk away from the shit you've been in. But it's okay. Some of this journey is on your own. I'm not going to lie. For some of you, some of the journey is on your own. Be okay with that, because really, I'm going to reiterate this. You're not alone. Start working with those ancestors. Start talking to them. Some of you can journal this. Some of you can do automatic writing, I'm hearing. Some of you can draw. Your altar also is within. If you live in a situation where you can't do an altar at all, it's within. So understand that as well. This life, it's for you. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It doesn't have to be chaotic. You don't always have to be in these environments. You can shift. And it's okay if you got to shift by yourself. Some of y'all got to take your kids and leave. You got to work on your own life. Bottom of the deck. You got to work on your own life. You don't owe anything to anyone except yourself. And those little ones, if you got little ones, you got to take care of. Some of y'all have adult children you don't even owe anything to. That's what Spirit's saying. You don't even owe anything to your adult children. So some of y'all, unless they're under some kind of dependent care. But you know what I'm saying? Like, for many of y'all, you're looking at things and all kinds of folks are tugging at your energy. And Spirit is saying, if you do this cord cutting, the only people who need to be connected to you are children, small children. We're talking about children who can't cook for themselves or pay bills or whatever. Those children. Everyone else who's an adult, snip, snip. Even your husband, your wife, your grandma, snip, snip. You can still care for people, but that energetic courting, let it go. For some of you, Spirit is saying, many of these people have made their own choices in life. It's just important for you to know. Everybody makes a choice, but your life is about strength. It's like having the strength to go the extra step now. Your life is sacred. And if people are in your life who don't show you gratitude, if you can't really be grateful for the things that you actually have in your life, something needs to shift. It does need to change. Were any of y'all here when I told the story of Santa Barbara? Because Santa Barbara, it makes sense now. She was put up into a tower, locked away by her father. And while she was in that tower, she decided to transition. She looked at her spiritual beliefs and understood that the spirit that her father has was not the same spirit she wanted to connect with. I'm telling this now in my own way. But When she did that, her father found out and surrendered her, betrayed her, gave her to the enemy who tortured her, and then later came and unalived her with his own sword. That is why when you look at these pictures, if you go to my YouTube, I'm put the pictures up because she holds a sword and she holds a cup, because these have become symbols, you all, of the spiritual fight. You got to do one with love, but you also got to clear away all of the negative energy with the other. The cup and the sword, because you're a spiritual warrior now. No matter who you are, no matter if you've always been about the love and light, the love and light still has a war to fight. So, we understand where we're at right now. And the war that we're fighting, you all, these people who are in these these governments, they're doing magic. They've been doing magic. They've been casting spells, you all. They've been doing it. When you look at the people who follow them, they're under control. You should know that by now. So when they're doing this magic, this is why. This is why they want to steer people back towards religion. This is why they want to distract you with who's going to be the Pope, all these things, because you all, they're trying to steer you away from your gifts. You got to use your gifts to see clearly and cut off the spells, transmute the spells. You really do. Things are coming down to the wire. They're not doing all these things because they got money. They ain't got no money. They ain't got no money. That's why they're doing these things. And they're trying to get you your buy-in. And your buy-in could be fear. It doesn't always have to be rah-rah. Your buy-in could be fear. And as long as they're trying to get you fearful, as long as you're fearful, you're not in your magic. As long as you're fearful, you're not seeing correctly. You're not seeing with your psychic eye. So, this is why you've got to turn away from these mind control. It's real mind control, you all. And once you start seeing clearly, you won't unsee it. You can't unsee it. You really can't. And right now is is about making the right choices, Spirit is saying, for yourself. Especially, Spirit is just wanting to say this one more time. If you're involved with people who do not support you, people who you have questions about constantly, do they support me? Do they like me? Do they love me? If you got to ask, it ain't the right relationship. And so Spirit is saying, be careful of your choices right now. Act in your own best self-interest. Is that right? Did I say it right? Act in your best interest. Because you really can't afford, to move forward with enemies around you, with ops around you. And sometimes an op is just a person who doesn't know themselves. Okay? So, for some of you, there's huge changes coming about when it comes to your relationships. Your cosmic ancestors are they're gonna make you see things you don't want to see. But you're gonna, some of you are gonna be in a clear position where you're gonna have to be like, no, I gotta cut this person off. It's gonna be clear like that for some of you. You're gonna find something out and you're gonna be like, no, I can't let that one go. Welcome, you all. Yeah, there is a bounty for you. There's something very beautiful awaiting you. For some of you, it's a connection with someone who really gets you. This is going to be someone who, Spirit is saying, emotionally, they're there with you, emotionally, but they also have a very generous nature. They're very gentle and kind. But when you both come together, there's like a spirit is saying there's like some kind of formation. Like it's almost as if you hold one part of the spiritual key and they hold the other. I'm getting this as a channeled message now. They hold the other. I don't know if I can get close enough for you all to see, but it forms some kind of like portal. Some of you are very powerful. Like the things you're here to do, we can't even really imagine it. We can't even really talk about it. You know, some of these images, they're coming from somewhere. Someone imagined this because they saw it. Whoever created this deck, whoever was the artist, they saw you coming together and opening a portal with someone who's very aligned with you. Very aligned. So you got to understand, when you meet this person, both of you would have done the work, because there's no way for that key to the portal to even exist without both of you knowing some kind of knowledge of yourself. But the work you both will do together, it's going to blow your mind, because I don't think either one of you have gotten to that place yet, because there's certain knowledge that only comes when we have our counterpart with us. There's certain knowledge that we, you know, a lot of the spiritual life is like, it's like access steps, you know. The more you do your work, you'll first, when you're really starting out, you're going to have access to certain ancestors, and that's totally fine. But as you get deeper into your work, deeper into your beliefs, there's another layer of ancestors that you have access to. These ancestors are higher level, meaning you have to get to a certain level to even sense them, to even know that they're there, because they're on such a high ascension level. And this is how your relationships will go too, because when you get access to those ancestors, then you start to feel your soul tribe in the 3D. You know they're around you, and it's just a matter of time before you meet them. And you will know when you meet these people, you will know them. Their energy is completely different than anyone else you've met. These are people you will not have to explain yourself to. It's almost if you both at the sensory level know each other. I'm saying both. So for some of you, there is some kind of one-on-one relationship coming in. But I'm going to tell you too that you have friends that will be like this. You may even find, for some of you, Spirit is saying long lost family. Long lost family. Maybe they've been away. You know how you meet certain cousins at a certain age? You might have played together, then your families moved away or something like that. You may reconnect with some of these people, and they've been like, listen, cuz I've been doing this, and you're going to be like, listen, cuz I've been doing that. And so, you know, you're going to even reconnect with certain family members who have also been growing, doing their work. So Spirit is saying here, for somebody, you're really worried about being alone. That is not a permanent destination for you. It really is not. Some of y'all are going to connect with people you just didn't even ever think you would have as friends. They might look completely different from you. Some of y'all have a little like ragtag group of soul family that's coming forward, but they've been doing their work. You all will understand each other. Some of y'all, these are people you never thought you would have as friends. You really did. Some of y'all a mate that you don't even, you would have said, this is definitely, it's total wish fulfillment here when it comes to this work. So it's okay. Spirit is saying it's okay to be alone and do this work right now. It's okay. Because when you start loving up on yourself in a particular way, you all, that love is going to be so solid and so clear. You're going to know right away if someone's capable of sharing that with you. You know, this is why there's a little bit of an alone time for some of you. Not for all of you. I mean, you might be connected with your folks. But for some of you, there's a little bit, because you got to know true love. But I'm going to tell you this right now. You can't know it through another person first. You got to know it through yourself first. There's a lot of people out there who can offer you beautiful kindness, but that love, it's got to come through you first, because you're not going to compromise it. Once you made it yourself, you're not going to compromise it. You're not going to give it away willy-nilly to anybody. You're really not. Okay? You're not going to do it, because you're going to realize, oh my God, that took me so long. That took me so many tears and shadow work to do. I ain't giving that shit away just to anybody. You really won't. That's how much you're going to love yourself. You're going to be like, the minute, yeah, you're going to see them coming. You're going to see the person coming. They don't want any kind of commitment. They kind of like, oh, I don't know if it's you or not. Oh, if you don't know it's me, then clearly you're not for me. Clearly. Because it will not feel like a 7 of Cups upside down reverse situation where somebody is confused. It will not be that. There will be no confusion. Some of you, it's going to be downright scary, because this person's going to be like, you're for me. You're like, wait, we just met. and it's not going to be a toxic like that, but it's going to be like, that person is going to know in their mind, first of all, this person is different. The energy is different. You're going to know in yours. Now, there will be that natural human thing of getting to know each other, and it should be that way. But the energy signature on you, my friend, is so different. You can't mess around with. Some of y'all are going to realize, and I know, physicalities, actuality, we all have different beliefs around that. Some of us, we like in physical engagement with a lot of different people. And for some people, that's okay. For other people, they prefer to wait on something. Whatever your story is there, you're going to find that you're just not willing to do that anymore with just anyone. And then there's a certain energy requirement there. And there's a certain kind of respect that you need from someone. Even if you're a person that's just a little bit more in your flow, you're still going to understand that energy exchange is real. And especially as you're developing your spiritual powers, you are not going to just, because that kind of engagement gives away some, it gives people access to your powers. So you're just not going to take a risk. Spirit is saying you're just not going to take a risk with that, because a lot of this you all have been working on for months, for years. You're not just going to give it away. You're quite literally at the victory, So there's something here where you're just like, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, it's not worth the risk unless I'm very clear. Vampires are real, you all. Not just in sinners. They are real. They are real. They are very real. I don't even like to talk about them, but they are real. This is what you want, whether it's family or community, family of choice, and it's coming towards you. You got 10 of Pentacles here. It's not going to look like a struggle anymore, because the way you all are aligned, you see that sacred geometry, you see that tree of life there. Who you are looking for, they are the blueprint. You are the blueprint. These are the only people you're going to be able to build with. Everyone else is a waste of time. They're wasting your time, potentially, or trying to take something from you. Yeah. It is time to finish cycles. 10 of Swords here. I like it in this deck because the swords aren't in the person's back anymore. The swords have transmuted to birds, and you're seeing your freedom now. Because birds to me are a symbol of freedom and liberation. So your freedom is here. You've transmuted the swords. You've transmuted the betrayal. You don't even think about it anymore. If someone didn't want you, if someone just thought you were trash, let them think that. Okay, let me transmute this. Here are all my swords transmuted into birds. My dreams are high. My ascension is high. Okay? Let people go who don't see your worth. It's okay. It's okay, y'all. It really is. They dusty and crusty anyway. Let them run. Let them go. Let them find their own way. For some of y'all, this is you running away. For some of y'all, these are people who you need to let go. Let them run. Let them do what they're doing. Okay? Because it seems like they're running after material gain. And right now, I think if you're smart, it's just going to lead to nothing. So, Spirit really wanted to give you this pep talk because you deserve it. And sometimes you've got to understand this life of yours. You are the magician. You really can bring this life into fruition for yourself. You can manifest whatever you want. It's a belief in yourself that is the work, right? The actual confidence that it takes. So this is what you're working with now. The self that knows that whatever you need, you have. Spirit is saying for some of you, don't get so caught up in money. Money is an energy. Yes, you need it. Let's be clear. But money can come to you in so many different ways. You can open up your mailbox and somebody who owed you a check from a long time ago is right in there. You may talk to a neighbor and they said, I know you do this thing and I'm willing to pay you. This is, I don't know why Spirit's bringing this up, but a long time ago when I was really on the beginning of my journey, I was part of this church or religious practice called Science of Mind. It's not Scientology, it's Science of Mind. And the thing that I loved about that church was that they taught you about working with your consciousness to develop your prosperity. And when I first started this practice, I remember Snapple. Y'all remember Snapples? Are those still around? I remember they were having a contest and I was doing this 40-day prosperity plan. There's a book called The 40-Day Prosperity Plan. That shit works. But anyway, it's like a 10-day, you do it for 40 days, but there's 10 affirmations and you do a process. It's in the book. The book is probably even free online as a PDF. It's called The 40-Day Abundance. Is it 40-Day Abundance Plan? Somebody put it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. It's by Price. It's the man's last name. Like Price is Right, Price. So, hey, Divine Roberts, good to see you. Hey, Resident King, good to see you. So, yeah, I was doing that 40-day prosperity plan. I was drinking these Snapples. Back in the day, I wasn't that healthy. But I would look at the bottom because you had to look under the cap to see if you won. Why did I win constantly? I was winning. It wasn't like any big cash prizes, but I was winning. And that told me right there that I needed to direct my consciousness a little bit more. Like I was manifesting, but I needed to direct my consciousness towards what I really wanted. So there's levels to this, you all. Thank you, Divine Roberts. I appreciate you. There's levels to this. John Randolph Price. Thank you. Who was that? House of Miracles. Thank you. Yeah, John Randolph Price. I appreciate you, Trish. Past life. Is it Trisha past life? Thank you. I don't have all my glasses on. Thank you all. Do that 40-day prosperity plan. If you're at the very, very beginning and you're wanting to know about manifestation, that 40-day prosperity plan, it's a good one. It's a good one. It keeps you real focused on your manifestations. But I'm sure there's other books out there. Y'all can let me know. But that one is tried and true. Tried and true. And money just be like coming at you from all, and it's different levels, right? I mean, just you find $5 on the floor or on the ground, or you know, like there's just random shit that starts to happen when you're doing that prosperity plan. So thank you, Dream Artistry. Thank you so much. Is it Mandy? Thank you. What else, Spirit? King of Pentacles. See, we're talking about it, and Spirit is just confirming, regardless of your gender, this King of Pentacles energy. You know, the King of Pentacles has worked very hard for each of these pentacles, but the final one, the one that solidifies this energy's wealth, it's handed from Spirit. Queen of Pentacles and King of Pentacles, you see them, they're holding the big pinnacle. The big pinnacle is that from Spirit. It's your divine inheritance. So when you receive this pinnacle, it's the kind of pinnacle that never goes away. It is everlasting wealth, everlasting abundance, because it was built in collaboration with Spirit. That is why the King and Queen of Pentacles, they know something about manifestation because they collaborate with God directly around their material world. These kind of people, often you're like, how do they have what they have? But these are the kind of people, I'm going to tell you, their energy is often very subtle. You will know that they're a king and queen, but it's not because they're carrying a purse or driving a particular kind of car. It's the way they carry themselves. It's the way that they know about the world. It's the way they move in the world. Sometimes these people are just in jeans and a t-shirt most of the time. Thank you, Asa, Asha. I'll see you later. I know I'm going late. I'm going to have to get off too. I thought I was going to wash my hair tonight. I might not. It's got a late. It'd be taking me a minute. So we'll see. A few more cards because I wanted to pull some for you. What's this one? Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune. You're getting a lot of pentacles right now, whoever's watching right now. So the Wheel of Fortune, very important. Spirit is wanting you to focus on your material life right now, but in collaboration with it. Okay. So it's something about that, you know, making sure somebody loves this card. You do. Yeah, I love that card. Look at that. When you're doing this kind of work, make sure that you feel good about the way that you're making money. For some of you, Spirit is saying it may be time to just look at how you're doing that, especially if you're doing work that you're not passionate about. Someone's asking for money in the comments. Knight of Pentacles, another Pentacles coming up. Some of you, you've been wondering about a path, you've been putting your energy into something, maybe a business, and this Knight of Pentacles, it's like the money's coming. It just may appear really slow, but you see it. You see it, but you might need these clients, or you may need a certain amount of sales. Spirit says it's coming. It is coming, but the Knight of Pentacles is slow because this is the kind of wealth that's built with a foundation in mind. So Spirit says, if any of you are kind of in that feeling of, I need to do this quick, or I need to find some kind of get rich quick, this is not that energy. This energy is like, build all the systems, make sure they're solid. When somebody buys something, make sure there's an auto reply that reminds them, thank you for your purchase. You know, like those kind of systems you put in place, the kind that just run on their own after a while. That's what Spirit is channeling through me right now. Make sure that all your systems are in place so that you don't have to keep like working and burning yourself out. It's going to be on autopilot. And then when people see how organized you are, how committed you are to your work, how smoothly you run things, that's when your pinnacles are fixed. they're sustainable. So for some of you, Spirit is just saying that, you got to trust the process. If you got to go to work or you got to work on a certificate, or you got to build up a physical space, whatever you got to do, Spirit's just saying, keep doing the work. Do not pay attention to lack. Keep your eyes forward and do the work, because it's coming for you. But it's a slow, steady kind of energy. Okay? We're coming to the last few cards here, but this has been such a powerful time with you all, because, I'm going to tell you, I only answer the call when Spirit tells me, hey, you need to do this message, or you need to do this. Let's get a message from the ancestors, actually, because in my ancestor deck. That's when I come on. So you're not going to see me on here all the time doing lives. I want to. I'm just busy. I got a lot of, I feel very blessed. I have a lot of things going on. So, and I thank Spirit for that. But sometimes I wish I could do more. Spirit is saying here, and your ancestors are saying here, if you're an artist and it's really work that you love and you believe in your talents and skills, go ahead. Invest in that. You really are good at creating something, whoever you are. And for some of you, like I said in the other post, if you saw my post earlier, some of you are either a teacher, like you've got so much wisdom, it's time for you to share it. Others of you will be drawn to a teacher. So I guess I'm supposed to repeat that. You will have some kind of teaching energy in your life, whether you are the teacher or you're going to come in contact with one. Some of you need to believe you are the teacher. No, you don't need any more degrees. You don't need any more certificates, workshops. You're ready to do that. Okay? So for some of you, that's the case, and your ancestors are saying yes. Hey, Etta, thank you so much. Uniquely Melissa, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, if you are a writer, oh my goodness, because I was about to say that. They're like, it's time for you to take this to the next step. Some of you may be experiencing a little bit of a writer's block, but Spirit is saying it's because you just need to give yourself a couple of different experiences. You just need to go and get inspired in a different kind of environment, and you're going to wake it up again. You're gonna go get back into your flow. But some of you are writers. You need to start. You might even, Spirit is saying to me, join a writing group where you all kind of read some of your passages to fellow writers. There's something about that. Feng Shui, yeah. Others of you, it's time to get into your medicine work. You're straight up shaman. I've been hearing that message personally myself. I do work that's clinical, and Spirit has just been like, no, it's time for you to understand in a deeper level your healing talents. For some of you, we're sharing the same message. Especially if you do plant medicine work, or you're into ritual, or you're into, oh, you are an author, Goddess Tay? Yeah. It's time for you to get on that writing. Others of you are shaman. Now, shaman is just the title one culture gives it. You could be a medicine person, a medicine man, a medicine woman, medicine person, whoever you are. You work with nature. You're able to go into different realms and help people. You work with herbs. Uniquely, Melissa. Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, I've been called lately myself I've been really working with flower essences. If you all are into that, let me know. I've been really I've been called to like work with the energetics of plants. So for some of you, this is your calling, but it may come. It may be different from how you were raised to believe in your healing gifts, so, this is a huge calling, this one right here, because there's a lot involved with it. You may need some training. For some of you, that might come in the form of a teacher. Flower essences, you like those too? Yeah, I got some like psychedelic ones, like of different psychedelic plants. flower essences, and I was like, whoa, I mean, they're the flowers energy signature with the water, and I was like, whoa. So I think I'm working with white yarrow right now. I just want to know like the energies, and because some people will take flower essences and say, it's too subtle for me, but I think you need to work with the right ones and understand what plants are calling for a relationship with you. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, and again, it's being reiterated here that some of you are just master magicians, like you master manifestors. I think that's why I was called to like talk about that 40-day prosperity plan, because some of you are just you're very good at manifestation. So the ancestors are really giving out all the different ways that you could be working with that energy. 333. That I know that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that's right. Okay. Last few cards. Yeah. This card came out in the earlier post, and I'm going to really say something about this. Some of you are very kind, very giving, and you do a lot of caregiving, but Spirit is warning you from overextending that, especially in situations where there's not a lot of reciprocity. Yes, care for people. And also, Spirit is saying there's a balance in that, caring for yourself too. So somebody needed to hear that one more time. The overgiving, the codependency, the enmeshment, we're trying to like move out of those energies, y'all. Sometimes people just need our care because we're giving them too much care. They need to understand that, there's a life out there that they can actively participate in. So it's a fine line, and you will know the connection many of you all are moving forward with when it comes to spirit. You're going to be very inspired by some kind of practice in the future, you all. Some kind of spiritual practice. You may be introduced to it, or you may find yourself coming back to it, and it's going to just ground you. It's going to put you right in contact with spirit like that. So anything that just keeps you, how do I want to say, still and knowing. For some of you, that is the key. For many of us, that's the key. Mothering. But I'm getting from spirit, and not in the literal sense, even though you might be a mother for some of you. It's more about, how do you mother those wounded parts? How do you mother that little child within that might have needed that, a long time ago? Some of you are on the journey to heal your inner child. Yes, there's an inner child. I know, I work with them all the time. And you want to really start to give love to that part of yourself. Start to give that part of yourself experiences that it missed when you were growing up. Some of us did not get to play like kids when we were young. Some of us had to immediately be in adultified roles just because of the situation of our family. And there's something about mothering and nurturing yourself, regardless of what gender you're in, giving yourself the nurturing, the love, and the kindness. It may be part of someone's journey right now. You may want to keep asking your parents for it, even if you're an adult. Guess what? They done. Whatever they did, they done. It's time for you to do that for yourself. Okay? You really do. Others of you are being called back to music. Okay? You really are. You're being called to maybe participate in drum circle. You're being called to dance. You're being called to sing. Some of y'all are really going to find your healing there. You really are. And you may be been away from it for a while, but Spirit says, go and jam with some folks. Go and get your dance on, get your song on. Okay? Anything else, ancestors? We'll take one more card from them. Yeah. And lastly, love up on yourself. Take a great amount of time to connect with with yourself. And if you, for some of you, this is about your partner. If you're in a good relationship and you feel like it's healthy, it's time to just become cosmically one with that person. To understand at the deepest level your connection to that person. That's for some of you. This is not about a toxic something. This is about, this person is for you and they love you and they care for you. You may be wanting to bring that to a deeper level, or they may want to, where you're doing spiritual connectedness with your partner. So that's for some of you. Spirit said one more. Yeah, this is about stepping into your leadership, ruling your own life, having divine dominion over your life. I have dominion over my life, nobody else. So we are coming to a close. I think I'm going to put a blessing on you all with this thing that I wrote. Kind of like a prayer, kind of like a manifestation. So if you're ready for it, get comfortable wherever you are. Get comfortable in your seat. I'm going to pull it up. Let me find it. I'm going to find this manifestation. It's not a manifestation. It's kind of like a, where did I put it? I'm finding it, y'all, because I'm going to read it out to you. It's very powerful. If I can find it. I just got the idea from Spirit. Spirit wants me to read it out to you. Maybe I saved it somewhere else. One momento. I'll find it, and if I don't, we'll have to do it another time. I thought I could find it. I don't know what I do with it. Maybe I did it on my other computer. Sometimes that happens. And it don't save. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I appreciate you all. I feel like so warm being on here. Usually my YouTube is Black Dove Oracle. I'm going to probably create another YouTube as well, because I want to get into more of teachings, spiritual teachings that I've learned along the way. So it will be a different channel, but if you join Black Dove Oracle, you're going to see all my readings there that I've have up to now. And you'll see this live is where that live is going to be recorded as well. So, yeah, if I can't find it, I'm sorry, you all. I thought I had it just right available to me, but I got to find out where I put it. I was working on it the other night, but I don't even remember what computer I was on, because I have a couple of computers, a laptop and a desktop. But, yeah, I don't know why I can't find that. All right, y'all. Sorry for the false promise. I mean, I'll come back later and I'll do another live so that we can do that, because it's such a powerful prayer. But I'm just going to say it off the top of my head. So if you want to get with me, if you want to join me, we're going to clear all the energies here. Hopefully that's not too loud on your ears. And just allowing yourself to settle in your environment. If it's safe, you might want to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And here's what I always suggest when I'm doing these things. I'm going to clear the energies with a little smoke too. Just a little Palo Santo. And as you close your eyes, connect with a natural breath in your body right now. You don't need to hold it. You don't need to do anything special with it, but just become aware of the natural breath in your body right now. The natural breath as it goes in and as it goes out. And just connect with that life force within you. The inhale and the exhale. Just feeling all of that force, that God force, that life force inside of you. Just the natural breath. And even fine tune it more by bringing your awareness to the part of your body where you feel that the most. It may be somewhere around your belly. It may be somewhere around your chest or your shoulders. You may even feel it around your mouth or your nose. Wherever you feel that breath the most, that inhale and that exhale, letting you know that you're alive, letting you know that you're a powerful force in your environment right now. And just allowing yourself to even tune into the quiet, even if there's other sounds around you. Tune into the very quietness that also exists in your environment. And just tapping in, bringing your awareness now to your third eye, that space between your eyebrows. I think it's called the ajna. And turning your sight inward as you focus on that space, turning inward, tuning in to the cosmic blackness that is behind our eyelids, and just joining in the beautiful silence. Everything got so silent around me, so I feel y'all are with me. And just knowing this place. You may be only able to stay in this place for a few seconds because that comes with a little practice. But the more that you do it, just paying attention to your natural breath. It doesn't matter if it's fast or it's slow, shallow or deep. You're just paying attention to what is. And if a thought comes, it comes. And you just keep focusing on the breath. And allowing yourself to just be with who this is right now. And saying inwardly to yourself, if it feels right and good, because it has to feel right and good to you, I love myself. I accept myself as I am, whole, perfect, and complete. I am willing to believe that about myself. And as you do that, just know there's all these parts inside of you that heard that. And maybe it will take some time. You know, for some of you, it may take some time for you to believe that. But it's a practice, right? So it's just a small practice. And it's not to tell you whatever else to do that makes you feel good. It's just a suggestion. And every morning you wake up and you express this gratitude towards yourself and you tune in to your natural breath and you just say thank you. Thank you for another day. Thank you for waking up and doing this thing we're calling life. And when you go to bed, thank you for this day. Sometimes it might have been rough, sometimes it was good, sometimes it was neutral. But you thank the day. And you just keep some kind of practice like that going. And you can say Ashe at the end, which is may it be so. You can say may it be so. You can say Amen, Awoman. you can just say, and that's good. Okay. I'll get back on here with that prayer that I wrote because I think you need to hear it. I got to find it. I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't the right time. Maybe there's something in it that I gotta do with, but it's coming your way. I want to thank you all because you truly are a blessing. Whether you've been with me here on YouTube or TikTok, I do really love and appreciate you all. And we'll connect soon. I'll do more of these lives. I think Spirit is telling me I am. I've been kind of a little off and on sometimes with this whole thing, but I do love and respect y'all. And I want you to tap into all the things we've been talking about tonight because you are worthy of it. And y'all my comrades, y'all my family. So, we got to do this together. So take care of yourself. I'm going to log off, I think. I'm going to log off on this live stream. Bye, y'all YouTube folks. Going to end the stream.